If Jesus pre-existed as God or an angel or a being in any type of pre-existent state before becoming human, then Jesus essentially cheated his way through life by already knowing all the answers. The pre-existence of Jesus Christ undermines the legitimacy of his sacrifice and human experience. The cheat code problem: Jesus foreknowledge versus true humanity. In gaming terms, having a cheat code means bypassing the struggle, uncertainty, and learning process that makes a game or life meaningful. If Jesus pre-existed as God, he would have known the nature of God, how God thinks, acts, and responds, the purpose of his mission, the exact path he needed to take, the weaknesses of human nature, knowing the best way to resist temptation, the final outcome, that he would rise from the dead and ultimately triumph. If Jesus had all of this knowledge hardwired into him from birth, then his human experience would be more like a scripted play rather than an authentic struggle. It would be akin to playing a video game with invincibility mode on while pretending to struggle like everyone else. Compare that to Adam, the first human, who started with zero knowledge, no built-in divine memory, no understanding of God's deeper nature, no awareness of a cosmic mission. Adam had to learn through trial and error, which makes his experiences and failures genuine. If Jesus was truly human in the same way, then he should have been just as clueless as Adam was when he arrived. The God mode issue: Jesus would already know how to win. If Jesus pre-existed in divine form, he would not just have inside knowledge, he would literally have a perfect understanding of how to win at life. Imagine playing a game where you always know the right choice, always know how to avoid traps, can anticipate every enemy's attack, know exactly when the game will end. That is not a fair or equal experience. The challenge of human life is that we do not know what is coming next. We wrestle with uncertainty, doubt, and confusion. But if Jesus, as a pre-existing divine being, came into the world already knowing every answer, then he never had to truly experience human fear, uncertainty, or faith in the way we do. Faith, after all, requires not knowing the full picture. How can Jesus be a model of faith if he already knew the outcome? This would also make Jesus' temptations in the wilderness, Matthew 4 verses 1 through 11, meaningless. If he already knew Satan's tricks, then it was never a true battle. A test where the outcome is guaranteed is not a real test at all. Why would God send a hacked savior? A true life hack? If God wanted to send a true representative of humanity, why would he send someone who started with divine memory? That is like claiming to run a fair race while wearing a jetpack. How would this have been fair to Adam, who was a true human being, but yet humanity was cursed because of the mistake of one man? Yet the only way for God to remediate it is not to allow a human to remediate it, but to send somebody down from the sky with all the cheat codes. To truly be human, Jesus would have needed to start at zero knowledge like Adam, learn who God was through life experiences, discover his mission instead of knowing it beforehand. This would make Jesus' journey authentic rather than predetermined. If he was simply wearing a flesh suit while retaining all his divine knowledge, then he was never truly human. He was just pretending to be. That would make his suffering and sacrifice performative rather than real. If Jesus had God mode on the entire time, then his death on the cross was not really a sacrifice. It was just a pre-planned drama with no real risk. He already knew he would win in the end. Would you be afraid of death if you knew you were coming back in 3 days? Would you struggle with faith if you already knew every aspect of God's plan? Would temptation be difficult if you knew the consequences and how to avoid them? For Jesus' sacrifice to be meaningful, he would have needed to experience the terror of uncertainty and the struggle of faith, just like any other human. But if he had access to divine cheat codes, then his suffering was just an illusion, a show put on for our benefit rather than a real sacrifice. If Jesus was to be the second Adam, then he needed to start from the same place: total ignorance of God's plan, total dependence on discovery, and total vulnerability to failure. He should not have had any special divine knowledge from birth. He should have learned who God was through experience rather than memory. He should have faced temptation with the genuine risk of failure. Only under these conditions would Jesus be a true human savior, rather than a divine avatar playing a rigged game. Was Jesus playing life on easy mode? If Jesus pre-existed as God and came into the world with divine knowledge, then his human experience was fundamentally different from ours. It was scripted, predetermined, and without true risk. That makes his suffering and sacrifice far less meaningful. It is like playing a game on invincibility mode, and then expecting people to be impressed that you did not die. Why on earth would you cry out to the one who could save you from death while you are on the cross? As Hebrews 5 verse 7 states, if you knew that you were just going to return back home to where you started from. You would simply return back to the heavenly realm and not have a doubt or fear in your mind what would happen after you died before you took on a skin suit. This does not make any sense whatsoever, and it makes the sacrifice of Jesus seem preposterous, incredulous, and a sham. For Jesus to be truly human, he needed to live under the same conditions as Adam, starting with no knowledge of God's ways, no pre-existing divine insight, and no certainty of the outcome. Otherwise, the whole concept of Jesus' humanity becomes an illusion. If Jesus had the cheat codes, then the game was rigged from the start.
Common Sense Christianity.